Hello, dear class. I want to tell you about my time as an exchange student in Massachusetts. I live with an African American family who originated from New Orleans, so jazz and soul music always flowed through the halls. The mother of the family is a social worker with an average income, while the father works in the embassy and has a rather high income. They have been married for 20 years and have a son that just moved out, so I'm the only youngster in the house. The school I went to was the fine establishment called Westwood High School, a very decent school indeed. When I was there, I felt like the teachers and fellow students really cared about me, which is an important part of learning and socializing.
The family I stayed with was incredibly nice. They actually had a son my age, and we became close friends. Both the house and the location was great. I lived 5 minutes away from my school in walking distance, so I always had a comfortable morning. I went to Westwood High School, which is one of the best public schools in Boston. The academics were great, as well as the environment between the students. I made a lot of friends, and I already miss them. And I also miss the cafeteria. It is way better than the one at my school in Norway.
I lived with a nice couple named Jeff and Karen. I went to the same high school as Levo and Una. Westwood is also a really nice school with nice food and a good teacher. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the geography of Massachusetts. Massachusetts' neighboring states are Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, and Rhode Island. It's in the northeast of the United States. The capital in Massachusetts is Boston. Over 80% of the population lives in Boston, a city influenced by history and industry. Massachusetts is the seventh smallest state in the United States. That's about Massachusetts. Our area ranked 44, total 1,566 square kilometers.
When I visited Massachusetts Museum of National History, I learned a lot about the history of the state, and I decided to create a timeline to give you some quick facts. English Europeans first colonized Massachusetts in 1607, and Jamestown was established as the first settlement of New England. In 1620, Mayflower, which was a ship, arrived in Massachusetts with English pilgrims, and the pilgrims established the settlement known as Plymouth. In 1621, the Pilgrims signed treaty with the Indians and celebrated the first Thanksgiving. In 1639, the first American post office opened in Boston, and the first free public school of America was established. Massachusetts became a royal colony of England in 1692. In 1773, the famous Boston Tea Party took place. Colonists threw tea into the Boston River in protest of high taxes. 2 years later, the first battle of the American Revolution took place in Lexington. 1 year after the first battle of the American Revolution, British troops were forced to evacuate from Boston. This was the first major victory of the Revolution. After the victory, John Hancock was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence. John Hancock was a citizen of Boston. In 1788, Massachusetts became the sixth American state. And that's all for the timeline. Thanks.
Massachusetts is a state with plenty of traditions. Among others, we have Patriots' Day, which is celebrated the third Monday in April. It is to commemorate the anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord. These were the first battles of the American Revolutionary War. This day is important to Massachusetts because the Revolutionary War started in this state. On the same day, the Boston Marathon is held every year, which is one of the world's most prestigious racing events. I remember I watched it last year. It was so much fun, and those who participate, they're really in good shape. During the Boston Marathon in 2013, there was a terrorist attack. The bomb was very close to the finish line, and it killed 3 civilians, in addition to 264 injured people. Another celebration in Massachusetts that occurs in Boston is Boston St. Patrick's Day Parade. This is very important considering that 24% of the population in Boston is of Irish descent. Also, Boston is considered one of America's most Irish cities. The family I stayed with was Irish, so it was a very fun day for me because the whole family dressed up in green colors, and then I went to a pub with my friends after watching the parade. Massachusetts is a very religious state. Most people at my school were Catholics, and that was also 44% of the population. But I also got some friends from other religions. I got a Jewish friend, and there are only 1.8% Jews in Massachusetts, so you could say that was rare. Also a Muslim friend, and only 1.2% of the population are Muslims. Those are the biggest religions in Massachusetts. When it comes to food, I had a lot of it. A lot of good food. The state in general does not have a lot of traditional food, but in Boston the variety is great. To mention a few of the dishes I ate, we have Boston cream pie. It is not really a pie, it's actually 2 layers of cake separated by a vanilla custard filling. It has been the official dessert of Massachusetts since 1996. Another famous dish is Boston baked beans. One of Boston's nicknames are actually Beantown. I'm not a big fan of beans, to be honest, but I like this dish. It is baked beans with some sort of syrup and bacon on the side. This recipe was really popular among the Pilgrims, and they were taught the recipe from the Native Americans. Clam chowder is also a well-known dish from Massachusetts. It is a soup containing clams and broth.
Now I'm going to compare life in Norway with life in Massachusetts. It was pretty much the same because of globalization. Same music, same clothes and stuff like that. But it was some differences. For example, the healthcare. I actually broke my arm and had to take the operation in Norway because it was really expensive in Massachusetts. The food are also a little bit different, and the school are also a little bit different. We learn different things, and it was more difficult to get a good grade in Massachusetts than in Norway, and you get served fast food in school time at lunch. So that's the difference from Norway. Fun fact about Massachusetts. Basketball was invented in 1891 by James Naismith in Springfield, Massachusetts. Did you know that it's illegal to make clam chowder with tomato sauce in Massachusetts? Volleyball was also invented in Massachusetts. It was invented in 1895 by William Morgan in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Official state resort of Massachusetts is Boston cream pie. The first subway system in the US was actually in Boston and not in New York, as a lot of people think. There is a state law that forbids snoring unless all of your doors and windows